What's going on, everyone? So, Sports Illustrated made an article diving into a hypothetical trade. And I'm not going to lie, I actually like this trade for the Lakers and all parties involved. I think everyone kind of gets what they want. And now, look, it's just a fun conversation video. It's just for discussion, right? I think it's a realistic trade. I don't think it's something that's like, far-fetched and out of left field. I think it's something that makes sense, again, for all sides. And look, it's the offseason. That's what this is about. It's all in good fun. But this is the trade in question. And to break down what the trade looks like is the Atlanta Hawks would receive Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent. The Los Angeles Lakers receive Larry Nance Jr., Karis LeVert, a 2025 second round pick via Minnesota, 2026 second round pick via Memphis, protected 31 through 42, and the Cavs receive DeAndre Hunter. Now, I don't know about the seconds, right? Because I feel like, the Lakers are really kind of making out in this type of trade. So I would remove the seconds to make it a little more realistic. But even then, again, I really like this trade. So the Cavs have been looking to try to get some type of upgrade at the wing. And I think DeAndre Hunter makes a lot of sense for the Cavs. So I think the Cavs get a guy that works for them, right? They've kind of had this like love-hate relationship with Karis LeVert, right? So I could see them getting off of him. They were even looking to try to trade Isaac Okoro for, who is it, Dorian Finney-Smith from the Brooklyn Nets. Maybe, you could kind of work something out to where, well, the problem is Isaac Okoro is restricted free agent, so you'd have to work some out later on down the road. But maybe if they get DeAndre Hunter, maybe you could kind of work something out later on. But nonetheless, right, DeAndre Hunter to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think they get their upgrade at the 3, right? They get a 6'8", sizable, versatile forward. Now, some might say, why would you want Karis LeVert over DeAndre Hunter? And it's more the defensive rating. And Karis LeVert, as far as the offensive versatility that he has, Karis LeVert is one of those love-hate guys, right? You watch him play and you're like, man, you should go get him. But then when he's on your team, you're like, oh, I kind of don't want him on our team, right? Because he just is such a roller coaster, right? But defensively, he had a 112 defensive rating last season. He's actually been very good for his career defensively, better than I even thought he was defensively. I mean, I always knew he was a legit 3-and-D guy, but he's been very good defensively, particularly with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, from the Atlanta side, and then we'll dive more into the Lakers side, because obviously it's a Laker channel, but from Atlanta side, I actually think it makes sense for them too, right? You get that point of attack 3-and-D guard that you can slot alongside Trae Young at times, but also be that backup for Trae, right? Get that veteran guy off the bench. I do think that makes sense for them. But also with, Alexander Sarr, or not Alexander Sarr, Riza Shea. They drafted Riza Shea, right? Atlanta's got Riza Shea, right? And they got several other wings, and you got, Bogdan Bogdanovic, right? They need that bigger, versatile 4, right? They kind of have this abundance. So I actually think Rui makes some sense at the 4 for Atlanta. So I think that they basically are getting off of DeAndre Hunter, and, Larry Nance, all that stuff, but they're getting back a piece in Rui Hachimura that I think would just help more long-term and now. And then also, are getting that defensive 3-and-D guard, as I mentioned, right? And they're just basically unloading DeAndre Hunter and Larry Nance. So I think that that's a good trade for Atlanta. I think that they get better help now pieces for them, right? And then I think Cavs end up getting a guy that they would consider, in my opinion, an upgrade. And then the Lakers, I think, get Karis LeVert, Larry Nance, who, again, very good, very serviceable off the bench, slotted in at the 4. Obviously, shooting is a bit of a concern, but his energy, his effort, defense, rebounding, you can even put him and slot him at a small ball 5 at times. Right? I think Larry Nance would be nice. Oh, but Karis LeVert, to me, I think would be a cheap option at the small forward position, right? Slot him in, you defend, he could basically play two or three, right? But you could slot him in. He could be your defensive piece, shoot the basketball, right? And be a point of attack, give you that athleticism that you need out on the perimeter. Again, he's not like my favorite. I do personally kind of like him off the bench as like that vacuum scorer, if I'm being honest. But, Lakers are limited, right? It's not like the Lakers have a bunch of just options, and even the options that are available are all kind of like, it's kind of like, yeah, that'd be great, but like, do you have to sell the farm to go get him? But also, Karis LeVert is 29, so no, he's not like 32, 33, 34. But this is a guy that can, again, be a vacuum scorer. When he's on, he's on. Right? Karis LeVert, when he's cooking, he is cooking. He's one of those guys you just kind of let him cook. Right? But as far as like stat-wise goes, so last year played in 68 games, started only 10 for the Cavs, played 28.8 minutes, shot 42% from the field total, shot 32.5% from three-point range, which is terrible. But you look at the previous year, shot the exact same amount of three-point attempts, shot 39%. If you can kind of get closer to that, that would be great. And then from two-point range, 68.6%. From the foul line, shot 77% basically. 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 14 points, along with 1.1 steals and half a block per game. But again, he's the roller coaster, right? Like you even saw, like 1 year he's shooting 40% from three, the next year you shoot 32%. He's very inconsistent, which is why he's not as sought after as he should be. But more than anything, what I like about this deal is it's low risk, high reward, and you clear off a bunch of salary. So both Larry Nance and Karis LeVert are expiring. Karis LeVert is 16 and some change expiring, and then Larry Nance is 12 and some change expiring, right? So like if you were the Lakers, you could either flip them later on, like at the trade deadline, or if you keep them around and they work, you could sign them on a cheaper deal and free up some cap space, right? Maybe get Karis LeVert on $10 million a year, right? And it's like, oh, cool, right? Like, so you just cleared, $7 million there, and then Larry Nance, maybe you get him, on like $8 million or something. It's like, okay, we just cleared, whatever, $10 million off the books, right? Like that could be great. And then LeBron kind of restructure his contract if you needed to, or you just let them both walk and you basically cleared off all this cap space. Again, LeBron can restructure his contract and it just gives you some flexibility for what should be a better free agency than was last year. So I like the idea of the flexibility of like, you're not stuck. You're not locked into like, if this doesn't work, now we got Karis LeVert for 3 years or we got Larry Nance for 3 years, right? No, this is something where it's like, hey, if it works, great. They are two pieces that could easily be in a rotation and help, but you also have flexibility, right? Again, you can go and trade both pieces. You can keep both pieces. You can free up cap space next season, right? Like they'll be valuable come the trade deadline. I don't mind that type of trade for the Lakers if nothing else is there, right? Like kind of like, hey, let's get this. Let's do a better flexibility trade. Let's do a better trade to where we can, maybe make something happen around the trade deadline or if not and there's nothing there, then boom, we can just kind of clear off some space, be done, out of sight, out of mind. But like I said, I think Atlanta gets just better pieces for what they need. Right? Again, that 3-and-D defensive guard. Also, he's only making $11 million a year, right? So I just think you're gonna have to take on salary to give up salary. Right? So I just think it works for Atlanta, right? Again, the second round picks would be just icing on the cake, be cherry on the top. More probably the better analogy, right? So, but even if you remove the seconds, I still like the idea. You get flexibility, you get athleticism, which the Lakers really need. You get a guy that can shoot and score with the best of them when he's on. Again, that's the problem. He's very roller coaster. He's, one game, he's out there and he's giving you 25 and you're like, and he's locking down defensively and he just looks like he's the best two-way player in the league. And you're just like, how is this guy not getting paid $30 million a year? And then, like the next game, you're just like, oh, that's why. Like the guy just makes terrible decisions and just can kind of get tunnel vision and shot chuck and all that stuff, right? But again, I just think it's low risk, high reward. I think if you do end up making another move, right, and let's say you do keep Karis LeVert, I think you're fine in that regard, right? Like he could be that guy off the bench where it's a lot less taxing, right, on the overall team, right? It's just kind of like, hey, like let him come off the bench and just go off. And when he's on, and let's cook, right? But I mean, he was really good for the Cavs last year. And it's more so to me about the defense, right? His ability to defend, particularly out on the perimeter. I said he's 6'6", 6'7", so you can slot him at the 2, you can slot him at the 3. I mean, you can even have times where he's at the 2 with Jared Vanderbilt, Anthony Davis, and kind of have them kind of on the prowl. Like I said, maybe you're bringing them in, maybe you're working that out to maybe help with the Jeremy Grant trade, right? Maybe, Atlanta, they kind of like, hey, we take Rui and Gabe Vincent, and there you go. And I know some people might go, oh, like, Atlanta, they're not going to want to help because they have the Lakers pick. Like, Karis LeVert isn't, Lakers pick isn't going to be a lottery pick right now anyway. Like, Karis LeVert, so Lakers go from, like, the 17th pick to, like, the 20th pick. Like, like Karis LeVert and Larry Nance aren't changing the landscape for the Lakers, but I just do think it makes them slightly better while giving you flexibility, while potentially giving you other moves down the road without having to give up assets. I just think it's not so much just the linear this guy for that guy, right? It's not so much like I'd rather, like if I had to choose between LeVert and Rui, I'd rather have Rui. But Karis fits better at position of need, as well as gives us better flexibility, is why I do it. And, Rui, as long as LeBron's on this team, Rui's kind of in a just a weird spot, right? So, again, I like the idea. I think both guys would have trade value come the trade deadline. They could be a win-win along all fronts. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think like, yeah, this would be great, this would be solid, right? Clear some cap space, get a athletic perimeter guy that can defend 3 and D. Again, I would feel whatever your thoughts are. I love to hear it, so let me know. Just a fun video, right? Just diving into some hypotheticals. Just saw it and I was like, it's probably some stupid trade. And I was like, oh no, this is actually reasonable, fair. Because usually, somebody's getting, either the Lakers are getting just completely fleeced, or the Lakers are completely fleecing another team. I was like, oh, this actually has, like, decent balance. Like I said, maybe, not the seconds, or maybe it is like a protected second or something like that. But even then, I just think that there's value in, just like I've made the argument, there's value in the Lakers taking on salary, right, to help clear up space for teams long term. I think there's value same way, right? Lakers get off some salary. Like I said, maybe you're moving that to go get Jeremy Grant or whatever. There's options, flexibility there. But again, how you feel, let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.